Yeah. Good afternoon. I almost said good morning. And we don't want to Zoom recording. Yeah,
There,
fine.
there you go.
Okay. So here's how this works. This is a month, a year long, kind of like a block of the month, sort of, kind of, but it also lets you make a lot of fun things. So if you don't feel like doing the house block, you can make small pillows, you can make table runners, table toppers, smaller quilts, anything you want from these patterns. They're going to be a great resource when you need that quick gift for a shower or for, a birthday or whatever. These work up quick and they're easy to do. So this is called On Wander Lane. And the end result, I bet I have to change. Can you see the quilt? Or do I have?
No, we just
No,
see the,
no.
Okay, let's stop that and we'll share this one. Boy, they're picky, these.
I see you.
There we go. Share. Okay.
Oh,
So this is the final quilt. And I know it looks like there is no way that I am going to make this. It's too many pieces. It's too much. Oh my God. Look at all that. Yeah. I know.
cute.
But how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's pretty much what this is. Now, if this isn't your cup of tea, you can still do the ones that you want to do.
Right.
You can still make the small projects. You could just make one patchwork block if you want to. You decide how you want to do this program. Even if you don't want to do something one month, you still come and join us and see how everybody's doing. And we'll laugh a lot, so it'll be fine. 12 blocks starting in January and going to December. And then there are 3 patchwork blocks for each month. One of the patchwork blocks is a fussy cut block that uses this overall house print from Benartex that goes with this program. The rest of them are just different theme type shapes, like you will see the tulip and you will see something else for Easter. There's a bird in here for May. There's a flag for July, a pinwheel for July, an apple for September, things like that. These are easy blocks. They're only 6.5 inches. And it's a lot of snowball corners or quick piecing techniques. So they're not hard at all. What takes a little time is the applique on the house blocks, but I'm going to show you some tricks tonight of how to do that. And every month I'll be teaching you different ways to do the applique. Listen to me carefully. She has you do hand sewing in this. No. I don't do that anymore. So I'm going to show you how you can use your machine to do the hand sewing stuff. You have some built-in stitches on your machine that can do it. If you have the embroidery feature on your machine, you can also do that. This is, like I said, it's your project and you create this as you go along, okay? I think it's adorable, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So, and if something screws up, we just laugh and we go on. Okay. And ask questions along the way, as always. Okay, so here's what happens when you get your pattern. This is the back page of the pattern. And usually on a back page, they tell you, how many fabrics you need, what fabrics you need, all that. She doesn't tell you, like, I know some people are going to look at this and Lisa has, I don't know how many bolts already. it's got to be 20 something bolts, and there's more coming. And some people are going to want to match the exact fabric to the picture of the quilt. She doesn't expect you to do that. Like, she will say, you need 4 greens. Now that means you can go to pins and needles, and I cut a few, but Barbara's been doing a lot of it. Fat eighths of all the different fabrics. I was shocked when I started this. There's a lot of fabric in a fat eighth. You can get, because a lot of these pieces are small, you can get quite a bit of things out of a fat eighth. So you can use the On Wander Lane fabrics, or if you run out, you can shop at home for best selection. Raid the stash. You can add anything to this. I've added quite a few of just little things that we went as we go along the way. So again, this is your project. You don't have to stick to the exact colorway of the quilt. It's yours. You can make it any way you want. Okay. So that being said, the best thing I can teach you tonight is, let me show you this. Okay. Why did the recording stop? I didn't stop my recording. Oh, for heaven's sakes, let's start it again. This will be
It's still recording.
Oh, no, it says pause. Yeah, it is still. Okay, well, you can leave there. Okay. Okay. All right. How do you keep your life organized with this? I got one of these bins, and it has been a lifesaver. They make them in all different sizes. So if I've started with the small one, and I'm going to stay with the small one, because if I get the bigger one, I just put more stuff in it. So I'm sticking with the small one. So what do I have in here?
Can you zoom out a little bit, Ronnie? Is it
I
possible?
zoom out? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. Thank you.
Okay. I just want you to see like all the fol-de-rol that's in here. Okay. So what do you need to do this? Step 1, fusible web.
Okay.
Do you remember in the old days, there was one kind of fusible web? It was Wonder Under. And it was fine. But now there's like at least 20 different kinds of fusible web. I'm going to say use your favorite, but I'm also going to encourage you to try some different ones and see how they work for you. I'm kind of picky about this. I like fusible web that leaves my block soft and not stiff. You know how sometimes Wonder Under leaves it a little on the stiff side. So what I've been using is a product called Soft Fuse. It's paper backed. You can trace on it, iron it down, cut it out, just like Wonder Under, but it leaves your fabric soft, not stiff like Wonder Under can. Or I don't have the package, but this is Heat and Bond Light, not Heat and Bond Ultra. I had my Ultra. That's the one in the red package. That works great for like Boy Scout badges and stuff like that, but you don't want to sew through that because that's like a lot of glue and your needle gets gummed up and it's not going to be fun. So if you're going to use Heat and Bond, use the light one. It comes in packages of 8 by 11 sheets. Works great. I just got this one in the mail this week. I have not tried it yet. It's called Flexi Fuse. I'll let you know. Clover has joined the fusible web. This is called Wonder Fuse. Same thing. Iron it, cut it, iron it again. Same thing. I haven't tried this one yet either. So there's also Steam-A-Seam, which is kind of nice because Steam a seam is tacky a little bit. So you can place your things down and then remove them and move them around so that you're not stuck until you iron it. So use whatever fusible web you would like to use. Okay. So what do I have in here? All right. You know how when you finish dinner every night and you have those leftovers and you put them in the refrigerator and then a week later you're throwing them away? That's what happens at my house. I'm saving leftovers. And I'm saving, this is my March bag of leftovers. And I'm saving it for a reason, because a lot of these pieces are small. And like I said, you can get a lot out of a fat eighth. So I'm saving them, and eventually I'll put them all together. Right now I'm saving them by month so that if I'm looking for a specific color, I can sort of go back and find it. But there's a ton of fabric in here that I can use for different things. Now this is, and I don't know if you got this yet.
I love that.
Isn't this the best?
Oh, I love it.
Note to Lisa, order 2 more bolts.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think she suggests using this on the back of the big quilt. And I think if people are going to do that, we're going to need more fabric because that's going to take a little bit more fabric. We fussy cut this, which in the beginning I was like, oh, that's a waste. But the way they did the fabric, you're not really wasting very much. And so far it's been a 3.5-inch square out of the, this fabric. And what I have now, see, Lori Holt play in this. Who knew they make 3.5-inch rulers?
Oh,
I didn't, but I had one.
I have one too.
I just move it around and just kind of line it up. And how much of the block, you know, of the house block do you really want? Like, do I want I call this tulip the Rocky Horror Picture Show tulip, because it's like, why would anybody put a giant tulip over a house? I mean, really. Or, you know, if you move this down, you know, you could do the bunny, which I think is cuter than the tulip over there. But you get the drift of how you can. And I didn't, I guess I was supposed to, now that I look at this. When I did April, I didn't cut this guy out for the block. I guess I was supposed to, but you don't have to. Like I said, you make this your own. So I have a yard of this, which I think is plenty for the house block. I don't need this for the house block, for the patchwork blocks that I'm doing. And I know I'll have some left over. If you're going to use it for the backing, let Lisa know, and then she'll order more bolts. Now, these are my leftover April fabrics. Again, fat eighths. Not a huge investment here, and you have a nice piece of fabric to cut smaller pieces out of. And that's why I'm saying save all your leftovers, because sometimes you use the same fabric from a different month and more leftovers. And these are fat eighths that I haven't used yet. So, okay. All right.
Connie,
Yep.
can I interrupt? I'm Mary Ann. I have a question.
Go ahead, Mary.
Hi. This is all new to me. So if I'm doing the first for March,
Okay.
so if I don't want to trace the house and everything, I could use one of the 3.5 thing from that fabric.
Yep.
Cut it out and then go around it with the shamrocks and whatever.
Yes, I'll show you.
Oh,
I'm going to show
okay.
you.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's why I want you to interrupt me.
Alrighty, because I'm not great with applique, but I fell in love with this thing and I'm determined to do it.
Well, then you're going to do it. So do not fear.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Now you're fine, Carol.
I also have a question. This
Go
is
ahead.
Suzanne. Hi, I'm new to
Suzanne.
a lot of this. What does fussy cutting mean?
Oh, fussy cutting means you move the ruler around till you get what you want in your block.
Oh.
That's all. I will do a demo on it. It's not a hard thing. Okay, so to start your house, can you see my light box?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now a lot of the things I'm going to show you today are nice. If you have them at home, use them. If you don't have them, you don't have to run out and buy this, but this is just what I've been using and I thought I would show you. If you don't have a light box, you wait for the sun to shine. You go to your window and you can tape up your pattern to the window and put your fusible web over it and then trace with the window. And that works just as well. Okay. So when you open your pattern, which I didn't take out, it's in here somewhere. No, it's not. Okay. Oh, here it is. No, that's April. That's not April. April, where are you? That's not April. It's this fusible web. Sometimes I get too organized. Hello, are you in here? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I don't have my March pattern because I gave it back to Lisa because she's selling these like crazy. This is April. They're all the same as to what's on the inside. So when you open it up, nice color pictures on both sides. So you can make this wall hanging. I made the shamrock version and that's what's hanging at Pins and Needles. I used fat dates, except for the border. I had a green at home and I just cut a bigger piece for the border and I had enough fabric in the fat eighths that I bought. This is a mini quilt or pillow, like a bench pillow. Mini quilts, she made a pot holder, a pillow. This is a table topper, whoops, of the tulips. Wait, there's more. Pillow, and this is table topper, same things, and your mini quilts. So I save the picture because if you want to try to match your fabrics, this is what you would use. What I basically am doing is if it says light blue, I grab a light blue. If it says medium blue, I just grab a medium blue. I don't really try to match too much. Then you have your general instructions, how to do fusible applique, how to do hand stitching. We're not doing that. Well, you can if you want to, but I'm not. And then there's a whole section on how to make the house block. And again, she doesn't tell you colors. She just tells you the first thing you do is make a background. I'll show you. And she just kind of tells you how to put it together. Then there's directions for each of the patchwork blocks. Another patchwork block. And then there's directions for the little project. Okay. Here's the most important piece in the entire thing. It's like a newspaper. Let me put my light box on. Light up, please. Okay. So it's big, but these are all your applique shapes. But this part right here is the important part because this is your house block. And this helps you when you go to place your shapes down. You can put this on your light box but sometimes it doesn't show through the darker fabrics. So what I do is I have this in front of me and I just kind of, this looks like it's sort of where it's supposed to be. The only thing I did do was I measured from the bottom of the block to the bottom of the house so that I made sure my house was in the right spot. But after that, I just kind of played and put the eggs where I wanted and the bunny where I wanted and so on. Okay. But everything is here for all of the projects. And then, I don't know why this didn't go on.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah, I just plugged them in. But that doesn't mean anything. Well, if he goes on, he goes on. Okay. Now this part, these are your pieces that you're going to need for your house block. So what you do, I even saved leftovers of fusible web. And I just put this over and you can see right through it. And I use a sharp pencil, which is in my box. I think, yes, it is. Here, pencil.
Paper side up.
Okay. And I'm just going to trace. Whoop. Okay. I'm just going to trace. Now, if you're really picky about it, you can use a ruler to get perfectly straight lines. I just kind of do my kindergarten tracing. Okay. Important. Label it. This is a door. Make sure you write down what it is, because like there's windows and there's chimney. There's a chimney, and the chimney and the window almost look the same. So you want to make sure that you label everything. And then you're going to take this to, you're going to cut around it, not on the line, you cut around it. Let me get my scissors. Okay. I'm just going to cut around this. Like this. And then I would find my fabric. This down. That I wanted for my door. I don't know why you didn't have on, but I'm going to put you away for now. Okay. I put my iron on. And I find whatever fabric I want for my door. Okay. Which will be these polka dots, because I'm just doing a sample.
You're out of the screen. Okay, there you
Now
go.
we're good. And we just hold it down. And then, whoops, I hit it with the iron. Which I turned off. Wasn't that a smart thing to do? Let's let it heat up. Then you iron it down. Okay.
Ronnie,
Go ahead.
did you get that sew fuse at Lisa's or did you get it somewhere else?
I got it on Amazon. I think
Okay.
this is going to try to order some.
Lisa told me today she can order it for the group.
Okay. This is the one I don't want you to use, is the red Heat and Bond Ultra, because this is a no-sew one. It's really, really, the glue on it is like really, really thick and sticky, and you don't want to sew through it. If you want to make this house and not sew it, go ahead and use this, because it will hold everything down. But if you want to sew your pieces down, then I would use another product.
Now, do you hear my echo?
Yes.
I don't know why it's.
Does somebody have two devices on?
Make sure my iPad is well. That might be me.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay. That better? Yeah, we go. That's better.
There we go.
Okay, my iPad was still on. I switched to my
Okay.
computer. Ronnie, another
And-
thing I read, she
Go ahead.
said that if it's a large piece to cut it out. Cut out the middle if it's a big piece.
Yes,
the-
if it's a bit, but really on these pieces, I haven't found a big piece yet.
Okay,
And yes, you can do what's called a window applique where you cut out the middle. I haven't done it yet. I'm sure if I find something that's bigger, I might, but so
Yeah.
far it's been okay. Okay, another thing that is really nice to have. Sharp, 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 sharp scissors. These are Karen K. Buckley scissors. I don't know if you've ever tried them. These
Yeah.
are like the special scissors that I keep hidden. Nobody knows where they are except me. They come in a large, a medium, a small, and an extra small size, but they are very, very sharp.
What
And
size are those that you
These are
have?
the large ones.
Okay.
The
Are they
ca-
left-handed and right-handed or?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think so. You want sharp, sharp scissors because if your scissors are not sharp, when you go to cut, you're going to get like little fuzzies on the end. And sometimes those poke through when you do your applique, depending on what applique stitch you use. But I like to use my sharp scissors.
and you're not worried about cutting through the paper with your sharp scissors?
No, I'm not,
Okay.
because this is a very thin paper. And it's not like I'm cutting through cardboard or something really really hard. Okay, and there's my door. And I would just make a pile. So now I don't know if you've ever used this. You can bake cookies with it. This is it's called a Teflon applique sheet. Lisa has them. And what this allows you to do is to build your house or build a part of the block that has a lot of pieces on it. It's easier to work on here and be able to lift it off and move it around than it is to put it on the fabric and put it someplace and have it stuck forever. And then you're cursing the block. So what I'm going to do is, this is my background block for March. I'm going to do it this way so you can see. So you have an aqua, a light aqua, and a white. You can use a different light blue if you want. This green is an applique. This has been fused down already. All of the blocks have the hill. They all have a different background, and sometimes it's like, I don't know, squares and rectangles. Sometimes it's just strips. There's a different background for every block, but they all have the hill. You can do dark green, you can do light green. If it's winter, you could do white, whatever you want to do. So this I just cut and I already fused it here. So
Can I ask, did you have to reverse any of the patterns? Or are they all?
they're all reversed for you.
Thank you.
You don't have to think about that at all.
Oh, so mean when you trace it, you don't have to worry about reverting it once you lift.
Exactly.
Oh, that's even better.
Isn't that better?
Yeah.
So here are, and guess who didn't label her pieces? Oh,
You.
well,
Mhm.
that's okay. All right, here's all my little, do you remember playing color forms when we were kids?
Yes.
It's kind of like it, sort of, or like paper dolls, but okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need to get the picture of my house so I remember how to put this together. So there's my house. Okay. Now, I'm just going to move this so I can find my pictures, because I need the picture of my block. I want to do this one. Okay. There it is. So
That's
I need my door is orange. So here's my door. Let's move this up so you can see. There's my door. And I can just kind of put my door wherever I want. If you wanted to, and if I had my big sheet that I showed you before, I could measure it and get it in the exact right spot, but it's okay. So I'm going to peel my paper off, stick my door down, even with the bottom. That looks fine. And I'm going to hit it with the iron. Now, I didn't take the paper off the house yet. I will in a minute, but I'm going to do the rest of my whatever I need here. Okay. So let's see. I need this goes back here. This is my roof. Raise this up here. Okay. This is my roof. So now I'm going to do this. Oh, I did label it house. Cool. And then I'm going to put, I think this goes behind it. And unpeeling this paper is a pain. And I'm just going to line this up like this. Okay. All right, let's move this up. so you can See it. All right. Okay, here's the magic trick. You ready? So I'm going to move all this out of the way and I'm going to iron it. And now I can do this. And it still has the glue on it, but this allowed me to put my pieces together. So I can build my house on this sheet. This is my roof trim. And I know these pieces are little, but boy, when you get them on, it just is so freaking cute. There we go. Okay.
the roof.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that here's a window. I think these little ones are windows. Like that. And I'm gonna get my ruler, I'm gonna line them up. But this one must be the chimney. Unless this is a chimney.
There's 4 windows
Okay. Oh, then that's another window. This is
Yeah,
my chimney.
that's a different house.
and they're oriented horizontally,
Yes.
the little ones.
And my chimney goes. Need to look at my picture.
One window goes, like the attic.
It's on the attic, but I'm looking for where my chimney goes, and I think he goes up here. Like that.
Right, that's where it goes.
Good? Okay. So horizontal windows.
The big one is not, the other 3 are.
Okay. So this one goes in the attic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this one must go down here.
Yes.
Top 3 are horizontal.
This one's
Yeah.
not horizontal, right? He's like this, but straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is next to this one.
Those 2 are horizontal.
This way? That makes sense.
Yes, the other way, yeah.
Okay, another word of advice, keep a trash can near you. Because these papers, they don't want to leave you. They just want to stay with you forever. Okay, so how do I know that I can get them straight?
The ruler.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
This one, lift my computer up so I can get this. So I'm gonna say half-inch up from the bottom. And I'm just gonna stick this down here. Looks fine. I'm gonna lift these up. Did I iron this yet? No. So let's iron both of these. Whoops. Iron that roof trim and iron this window. Okay. And now I can do my windows. And I'm going to do a half-inch over the door. And I'll put one. And I'll put two. Of course, I'm looking at this sideways, but I think it's okay. And then this one, I'll just stick kind of in the middle. Looks like a house to me. Okay. And then I just stick this and down we
Can
go.
you adjust the camera up a little bit so we
Yes,
can see?
ma'am.
the house?
There's
Thank
my
you.
house.
Oh, yes, thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. The house parts are not hard. The other parts aren't either. It's just, oh, my chimney didn't get glued down. There's just pieces. Lots and lots of little pieces. Okay. So now I'm gonna very carefully move the rest of these pieces, and don't sneeze while you're doing this or you'll lose something. Okay. And here's my house. This over here. And here's my background. And my house is going to sit.
Ronnie, before you move forward, do you still have the paper on the back of the house or no?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. My paper's all gone.
Okay.
Ronnie,
Go ahead.
When did you take the paper
I
off
took the
of the back of
paper
the house? I can't
off
remember.
when I ironed it to the Teflon sheet.
Teflon sheet.
Okay.
Okay. So I built my house first on the Teflon sheet. Then I picked up the whole house and I will put my house where I want it on my hill. It looks like this is where you really get to play a little bit. So I know that from the picture I have a flower pot, which is really an upside down hat. So let's do this so you can see the whole thing.
Ronnie, one question. What size is the background when you lay it? And what's
It's the finished block is 12.5 by 12.5.
12.5 by 12.5?
This piece right here is 12.5 widthwise by, I believe it's 10.5. Because after you get your applique done, you add a strip of squares to the
Oh,
bottom.
at the bottom. So when I'm
Exactly.
first cutting the background, I cut what, 12 by 12.5?
She tells you the pieces that you need to cut.
Okay.
Like
All
this
right.
one was 10.5 by 4.5, 10.5 by 3.5, 10.5 by 5.5, maybe.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Okay. So now I have it's supposed to be a leprechaun hat, but it's really a flower pot. Okay. Now we got it. Okay. And then growing out of the flower pot, because this is St. Patrick's Day, are these shamrocks. And yes, peeling this paper is
It's
okay. Okay. Now when you place it, You don't want to put anything too close to the edge because, you know, you'll lose it when you sew your blocks together. So I'm just going to stick him here. And then there's another little different color shamrock. I hope you like green because there's a lot of greens in this. Okay.
And there should be.
That's right.
It's a March, St. Patrick's Day.
There you go. So there's my little, and I'm just going to move him over just a little bit. Okay. Here's my favorite part. Oh, wait. The hat has a hat band. Why not?
Now I have one question.
Yep.
When you're putting all this together, because you were talked about going close to the edge. Is the block any bigger and then you trim it down, or is it exact cut to
To the
size?
size.
To the side, okay.
Yep. Okay. Move my house. All right. Here's my favorite part of the whole kit and caboodle here. Oh, wait, there's a buckle. I have a feeling. Or does this go like this? I know I got confused with my buckle.
That's how the picture
That's
is.
how it
That
goes.
look right?
That's the way it goes.
Okay,
That's-
good.
That's,
Thank you.
I got the picture in front of me.
Oh, good. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, here's my favorite part, and we're almost done, believe it or not, is this sheep. Okay. So the sheep goes in
Well, you
between.
have that silly
Can you
flower.
zoom up a little bit so we can
Yes,
see him?
ma'am. There's my sheep. Hold on. I'll move the block or move the camera. Hold on. I just don't want to lose my flower. Okay. There's my sheep. And there's his legs. Okay. And here's his body. In the fabrics for this is this white. It's kind of white and grayish. I'm going to move my sheep. And you can put him near the window. It's okay. But see what I'm talking about with these little threads?
Mhm.
Like if you see that happen, as Barney Fife used to say, nip it in the bud. Nip it before, you know, you start sewing this because it's a pain in the neck to do it later. Okay, so there's his body. And he has to have a head. And his head kind of goes like that. And yes, it blends in, but when you do your applique stitching, the head will be outlined. And I lost my little shamrock. Little shamrock. Here he is. Okay. And the little shamrock goes near the, oh, this was a boo-boo.
Out of his mouth.
Well, yeah, but see what I did. There's my boo-boo. I made the shamrock the same thing as the hill. So I'm going to have to make a new shamrock, but let's just pretend. And it goes there, and then you do a little line of stitching that looks like a stick or the stem of the shamrock, and it looks like he's or she is eating her shamrock. And then the last piece is,
That's not the last piece.
what else am I missing?
Well, the heart on the head, but there's
Oh,
a flower
yes,
on top of the
heart.
shamrock. There's another
I
flower on
got
top
a
of the
flower. I got my flower, the heart.
Oh, okay. I think that's
Oh.
where that hand sewing comes in.
Well, according to her, it does.
Yeah, I know. I'll draw.
Me, it was my favorite triple straight stitch with
What stitch?
triple straight stitch, number 6 on my set.
Number 6. Okay, let me
I'll
write
show
that
you what
down.
it looks like. We're going to get to all that, so do not fear. Okay. So you put your heart on his body, and then there's a flower that is way up here. And the idea is that you embroider kind of like a flower stem
Mhm.
and go wherever you sort of want it. I just did it coming out from the shamrock. Okay. So when I get it the way I want it, and I think it's okay, and I'm happy.
Now,
with it,
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say in the picture, the head of the sheep is black.
It is? Why did it?
Yes,
Oh,
it's black. I'm like, why can't I see yours? And I just realized you have it on
I
there,
didn't
but
know
you,
it
but
was
it's white.
black. I made
No,
it.
it's
black.
white. It's white.
Well,
Uh-uh.
on the pillow, it's
They'll
black,
have one.
but
I'm looking at the
no,
picture, it's black. Definitely black.
on this. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
it's black.
It's black.
Okay, well, I didn't, oh, yeah, it is. Well, there you go. I told you could make this any way you wanted to.
Yeah.
When I did the big wall hanging at Lisa's, I left it white, but when I did the stitching around it, you could really see that that was the head.
Right,
You can do
I
it
see
black,
it.
and that's absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, whoops. So now you just get everybody kind of set. I'm not putting the shamrock because I have to make a new shamrock.
Ronnie, would it be like against the rules to use a little fabric paste? Or,
Of course, it's
you know,
not against the rules. Take
Okay.
a glue stick.
okay,
I would use one of the washable glue sticks and just
Yeah.
put a dab to hold it down while
Yeah.
you're placing it.
Yeah.
If you are working on placing it and you get called away, close the door, especially if you have a cat. Or you left your window open and it's a breezy day, because you don't want it to kind of blow away. Okay. And there we go. All right, so now I just have to hit this with the iron. Okay, everybody. Everybody down. Oh. Sorry, Mr. Shamrock. Okay. And there you go. Does it take time? The thing that takes the longest time was the tracing. And the cutting out around it and then ironing that, but you kind of can do it in stages. Like you do your tracing one day, you can cut them out and iron them on the fabrics another day, cut it out the next day, and then do the placement. And then you're kind of good to go. All right, let me clean my mess. And you're going to be finding these scraps of paper from Fusible Web everywhere.
Usable web.
Okay. So that's the applique, and I'm going to take you to the machine in a minute and we will talk about how to applique. But along with that, there are 3 patchwork blocks. Okay. Not hard. Actually kind of fun to do. Okay. So let's move this. All
I'm
right.
telling Lisa.
Telling me what?
I'm telling
isn't it
Lisa about your
awful?
pin cushion.
Or my cushion is terrible. It is. I admit it. All right. So your first block is what's called a disappearing 4 patch. Now you've heard of disappearing 9 patch, but this is a disappearing 4 patch. Now she gives you all the directions. I cut a piece, I think it was 4 by 8, a piece of blue and a piece of white. I sewed them together, cut it in half, and then I have a 4 patch. So now I'm going to sew these 2 pieces together. And I'm going to drop my pin like Barbara taught me. Okay, and I'm just going to sew this 1/4 inch seam. Don't need this camera yet. Come on. You can go now. Thank you. Whoops. Move it over. Okay. And you can press it open, you can press it to the side. Whatever way you prefer. So now we get to play. This is kind of fun. So now you're going to take, did I bring a rotary cutter? Of course not. Why would I need a rotary cutter? You are going to take, and you are going to measure 1.25 inches from the center seam. And this is my 1.25 inches. I think it's 1.25 inches. Always double check. Yep, 1.25 inches. Okay. 1.25 inches. And then I'm going to flip it this way. And I'm going to do another 1.25 inches. Okay. And I have this.
Oh, leave her alone. Leave her alone.
Oh, I have to do more. Wait. And then I do the same thing this way. So I probably should do them separate because I moved everybody. 1.25 inches. 1.25 inches. Inch and a quarter. I'll be dreaming about 1.25 inches tonight. Move it over, and there's all these pieces. And then I do the same thing here. 1.25 inches. And this is cool because you get an itty bitty little 4-patch for your center. Okay, so then, there we go. So this little piece goes in the center. Okay. And then you can put, these go, my ruler. These go here. And you see how I'm turning the pieces so I have different fabrics touching? And then this one like this. And this one like this. And then I can put this here. And I put this here. And I put this here. And I put this.
Oh.
That's my block. Easy, fun, 1.25 inches, in case you don't remember. And she, again, you can use any of the fabrics you want. Just, you know, do whatever. And the big quilt, they use different greens with light backgrounds, but that's just what they did. You can do whatever you want. Okay. The next one is an old favorite. Square in a square. And this is the one that used the 3.5 inch
House.
center. And this is the one that used the house fabric. I just use my rainbows, but this is where you would cut your house. Do you want me to show you how to cut the house out with the ruler? I think you'll be okay. Okay. And then you have 2 3.5 inch squares and 2 4.5 inch squares. And we're going to line these up. And I'm going to use my 6.5 inch ruler. And I'm going to cut these. My 45-degree line is on the bottom of the square. And I'm going to cut them in half. And I have 4 triangles. And then this one, same thing. My 45-degree line. Bottom of the, okay. Ugh. Time for a new blade. Like I said, time for a new blade. There we go. Okay, so this is square and a square. If you've never done it, what you're going to do is fold your center in quarters. So you have your center of each side. And then you fold your triangle. And you're going to sew your triangles. Opposite sides first. Okay, so you'll be sewing like this. And when you finish sewing, it'll be like this, and be like this, and be like this, and be like this. Now, square and a square is always, 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 forever and ever and ever made bigger than you need it, because you have all this leftover on the, on the points. She tells you to trim this. I believe it is 4 3/4. Yes, a 4 3/4 square. Then you do the same thing. Why do I only have 2 in a triangle? I should have 4. Oh, here they are. Goodness me. After you trim that to the right size, then you add your red triangles.
Oh, so
And you
small.
trim it to be 6.5 inches. See, well, this isn't sewn, but you'll see it is much bigger, but that's good because that gives you room to kind of finagle it. Easy peasy. Okay. So you have 2 easy ones and one that's a tiny bit more involved. But it's, oh, I have my samples here. So this was square and a square. Did my house. And this was the disappearing 4 patch.
Ooh, I love that fabric.
I love this fabric.
I love that fabric.
Like I'm saving every little.
I want some of that.
I have.
Kathy, remind me.
And then we have to have a shamrock because it's St. Patrick's Day. Okay. So you're going to cut 2-inch green squares, 12 of them. Scrappy is fine. I just used what was in my scrap box for the sample today, but I used, I think, all of the greens that were in the fabric that I got. But you can add another little flash of color if you want to. So you got 12 2-inch squares. You sew them together into 4 patches. And they will be like this. And then you need 1.5 inch squares of a background color, or a light. Okay. Now I have a gadget. It wouldn't be me if I didn't have a gadget. Okay, so I'm going to stop this share, which I hope it will do. And now I'm going to share my phone. Hello, wake up. Thank you. Are you there? Not yet. Let me share my phone. You did before. Why aren't you letting me share my phone? Okay, screen mirror. Well, if you don't want to, I guess I'm not going to make you. But you worked before. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Now can we see? Yes. Okay. So now I need my camera. Nope, I don't want my hand. machine. Okay. Can you, oh, how come you're not seeing it? Resume share. Resume share, hello. Oh, yes. Let's try again. Oh. Now we're gonna do this. Now we're cooking. Okay. Now I want my camera and now I want to see my machine. There we go. And there's my fancy dandy thing. Okay, so these are going to be making snowball corners. You know, when you put a square down and you're supposed to draw the pencil line and then you stitch on the pencil diagonal line and you're supposed to flip it over. Okay, yeah. And that's okay if you have like, I don't know, 1 or 2 to do, but this is like 36, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 you have to do still. So I have, you know, I love Eleanor Burns. This is called Quilt in a Day Sew Straight. And you put this plastic sheet.
I love that sheet.
Oh my God. The hardest part for me is keeping these little, you know, papers from the sticky square.
Tape.
Well, yeah, it's kind of, every time I see these little, I used to have these all the time at school because this is what we used to hang things on the wall, but, and I'm lining up, this a little closer here. I'm lining up my 1/4 inch line with the 1/4 inch, these lines right here. Okay. Now, make this like, can I make this so it zooms in a little? No. Oh, don't be silly. Camera. Behave. Are we there? Not bad. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this up and I'm going to go this way. Okay. So I have one of my 4 patches. And I'm going to put the snowball corner in 3 corners. So I'm going to put it here, here, and then here. So I line it up. I'm not going to draw a line. But what I am going to do, back this up just a little bit. I am lining up my diagonal line on my white square with this black line. And as long as I keep this corner on this black line, I get a perfect diagonal line without having to draw a line. And there we go. And then I just flip it, I finger press it, and then you can trim it when you get to the ironing board. And then I just grab another one and I do it again. Line up my diagonal line with the black line.
You can't see your screen with them going through.
Oh,
Ronnie, what is that called, that ruler?
it's called Quilt in a Day Sew Straight. There are a ton of different versions of this. There was one called the Angler years ago. There's also a tape. It's called a seam tape.
Oh
It
yeah, I've seen that.
basically
Yeah.
has 3 lines on it and you
Yeah.
line it up the same way and it's perfect for this. Whoop, cut. And then my last one.
It's great. So
Okay, and my last one would go this way. So one corner doesn't have a square. And you're going to do, whoops. Okay, you're gonna do all three, yeah, 3, 4 patches the same. Okay,
2, 3.
so this one's done, so I would have to do the others. And then, where's my shamrock? So here's your first one. Here, let's move this up. Can you see him? Yep. So here's,
Oh,
okay, here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. And the stem is, oh, okay. Stem is made with a 3.5-inch green square and 2 3-inch background squares. And it's the same thing. I just line it up. Oh, my camera froze. Did you go off? You did. That wasn't nice to do. Are you still screen mirroring? Yes, you are. It's me. Hello, wake up. Hey. Thank you. Okay. So I have it like this. And now I'm going to sew from here to here. Again, just using this line. I would put my straight stitch plate on, especially when you're doing the little ones, because you know how the points like that like to get sucked down into the throat plate. So your straight stitch plate might be a good idea. And if I do this one the same way, I will have a stem.
oh, okay. That's like that.
Okay, not hard. It's better than appliquing a stem onto a piece of fabric, which is what some of them have you do. This is kind of like a leaf block we do in the fall. Okay, so there's my stem. And
You
you,
leave the back on, Ronnie, or did you cut it out?
what? I will cut it out.
When you
I
will
will
cut it
cut
out.
this and I will cut this. But I usually just flip it and make sure that it's right before I go to
Yeah,
patch it.
yeah,
So
no.
then I just sew my 4 patches together and my block is done. Okay. So while I'm at the machine, I'm going to lift this off because I don't need it. And I'm going to rethread my machine with black. If I can find my thread. Oh, here it is. Hello. There we go. Okay. Don't need those. And let's talk about how to applique those pieces down. Whoop. Now, I think what I'm going to do is make a thread chart. Lisa has the small spools of Aurifil thread. And I think I'm gonna, next time I go in, I think I'm gonna make a thread chart that matches the fabrics. If you want to do a satin stitch and match all the colors, you're welcome to do that. Okay, step 1, stabilizer. Whenever you do an applique like this, you want to put a stabilizer under your block. If you don't have stabilizer, get a piece of paper. I'm using a stabilizer that I have from embroidery called Ultra Clean and Tear. It's a tearaway. It tears very easily, doesn't leave any little bits around. And all I do is just, whoops. I just kind of cut a piece off. Okay. And I'm going to put it under my block. Okay. So let's visit the machine. You have a ton of stitches on here that you can use for applique, machine applique. You can use a tiny zigzag just to hold it down. Some people like to use a straight stitch. And so very close to the end, that works fine. What I am using is, I'm going to my quilting menu. It's a picture of the little quilt. And I am using a blanket stitch. There are 2 blanket stitches. There's a single one and a triple one. I'm using the single one because it goes faster. The double one or triple one is nice. It stands out, but I wanted to get this done, so I chose this. Okay. Now I'm leaving it the way the default is. It's a width of 2.3 and a length of 2.6. You can change it to your heart's desire. Let's make sure you can really see what this stitch is. Okay. So I'm going to start, and I'm just going to do from the roof down to the sheep. And I always press pattern begin. So I'm at the beginning of the stitch. So it's going to go, it goes over, back, down, over, back, down, over, back, down, over, back, down. I don't have a song, but you could make up something. That's important when you get to corners or curves. You kind of want to know where your stitch is in case you have to move it. I'm using foot 34D, which is a clear foot. Some people prefer, I don't know if I have them here. Oh, I do. Some people prefer foot 20. Are you here? Where did you go? Did you freeze again? You did. What is going on with you? Yeah. Come on. We got things to do here. Okay. There it is. 20, which is an open toe foot. So you can really see. Whatever you want to use is fine. Your choice. Okay, so I'm just going to put it down. And my needle is going to go right next to the side of the house. There it goes. And it goes over, down, over, down, over, down, over, down. Now,
We can't see the stitch going into the fabric. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
okay. Now, I just use black and I stop when I get to the sheep. I use black because I've seen a lot of vintage applique quilts that use this blanket stitch in black. In the old days, they did it by hand. You can match your colors for each section. Like if you want a certain green for the house, you can do that. This is all up to you. You can do anything that you want. Okay, so I'm just going to cut my thread and I'll show you what this stitch is. Can you see? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Works fine, gets it done, holds it down. Your other choice, and next month I will talk more about this, is a satin stitch. And there's a lot of different ways you can play with that. And that has a little bit of little tricks to it when you get to corners and curves and things like that, but it's doable. You also have a ton of decorative stitches on your machine that do a really nice applique. Now we'll be talking about those. So even if you just get your blocks made and hold off on the applique until you're sure what you want to do, that's fine too. Okay. Phew. Okay, that's enough. I don't want to tell you anything else. I'll confuse you for sure. Are there any questions?
No, Ronnie, I have to go because I have a Bible class that I have to Zoom
save
on.
one for me
but-
there, Mary Ann.
I'll save
Good
one
for
for the
you.
group.
Okay.
Alrighty, but Lisa says that if this will be put on the website and we could look at
Yes.
it again?
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
I wanna thank you.
I will be at Pins and Needles on Thursday from like 12 to 3:30-ish.
Oh, great.
If you want to stop in, if you have any questions or any worries, you can always email me. You can always message me. I will set up a private Zoom class with you if you need it. But I'm always here. My goal is that maybe sometime during the summer, we can have a get together at Pins and Needles. Bring what you made and we can share and then, see how we're doing on our Wander Lane. Okay.
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 So Thursday, it's between 12 and 3 that you're
Right.
probably gonna
I'll
be.
be at Pins and Needles.
Okay.
Probably
have to s-
cutting fat eighths of fabric, but that's okay.
Okay. All righty. I want to thank you. I gotta run
Okay.
for my Bible
All
class.
right. Take
I'll
care.
say
dear.
one for the group.
Thank you.
Good luck,
Take care.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Any other
Bye.
questions? Everybody.
Yeah, Ronnie, I have a question. The what is a snowball corner?
The snowball corner is what we did on the Shamrock. Hold on.
The ground.
Share. The snowball corner is this. It's when you put a square on a square and you sew on the diagonal and then you fold it over and you get a triangle in the corner. That's a snowball corner. I don't know why it's called a
Okay.
snowball corner, but it's called the snowball corner. It's kind of meant to give the illusion of a circle or a curve on a square. So if you put all four corners, it would sort of look round-ish without being round. Okay, that's what a snowball corner is. Okay, any other?
And then I have another question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for sewing the applique,
Yeah,
my machine I think only does straight and zigzag.
that's fine.
Because that's what I mostly
Okay.
use when I'm sewing
Okay.
the stuff that I sew.
Okay.
And how does that work for sewing the applique in place?
Yes, it certainly does. You can do a very narrow
Okay.
zigzag just around the edge, and that holds everything down. The
Okay.
other thing we're going to talk about is doing what's called a satin stitch, which is where you're doing a very tight zigzag. Like you make your stitch length really small and the stitches kind of build up. And it's supposed to look like satin.
You might want to practice on a practice piece to see where
Yeah.
it lines up on your edge.
Yeah.
Took me a while with the zigzag to
Get
figure
your
it out.
block. What I would do this month is get your block made, and then next month I'll do a whole thing on satin stitching. And then you can decide if
Okay.
you want to play with the blanket stitch. If you have it, if you don't, then you can do a regular zigzag, or you could do a satin stitch.
Okay, but zigzag will work. Okay. And then I had one more question. You said that the really, really sharp scissors that you use, what was the brand of that?
It's
Or what was
Karen, they're called Karen K. Buckley scissors. I think Pins and Needles has them in the wall behind the register next to where the feet are. I think I'm spending too much time at Pins and Needles when I know where things are now. But these are where I think she has them. Even if it's like a new pair of scissors, like you're not going to use the scissors that you're using to cut everything. Treat yourself to a new pair of scissors. And so especially for the cutting of the little pieces, like this block, the shamrock block, that vine with the shamrocks on it, you have to cut kind of slowly and carefully, and it really helped if you had a nice sharp pair of scissors.
Okay. And then you said there's some embroidery on there.
Oh, yes.
For the embroidery stuff, are are we able to either, is it really needed, or are we able
No.
to use an embroidery machine in pins and needles, or how
You
does that?
can, you know what, we can do that. You can use the embroidery machine at Pins and Needles. Yeah, on the machines at Pins and Needles, there's a stitch, and I can do it. If I find a piece of fabric. Well, you know what, I could do it on here.
What would you use the embroidery for?
I use the embroidery for words,
Oh,
like
okay,
lots
like
of
on a
words.
pillow? Okay.
But when I'm gonna do the stem on the flower now. Okay, so let me share. I am screen sharing. I want to stop my share. And now I want to share my phone. Are you still mirroring? No, of course not.
Ronnie, it's Ann. I have to go. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
You can email me at
Okay.
Ronnie, RONIG8 @AOL.com. Or just call Lisa and she can give you my contact info.
Ronnie G like golf 8.
Yep,
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome.
Ronnie, I have to go as well, but I just have one quick question for you, which is, you mentioned that the block started January, so, but we're doing March, so was there?
Because we're
already
at Pins
a
and
Jan-
Needles. That's what we always do. The problem was the fabrics didn't come in until no, they came in late December. And there wasn't enough time for me to get samples made, and she didn't have the patterns for January. So we just
Okay, so we're just
decided
gonna go through
we're
to next
just going
year.
to start in March, and we're just going through. And
That's
so
fine.
next
I just
month
wanted
is
to make sure I
April.
didn't miss anything.
No, you're not going to miss a thing.
Okay,
Next month is April, and then May, and then June. Okay, so the last
Okay,
thing I'm going
great.
to show you is this is called the triple straight stitch. It's a stitch that goes
Which number is that, Ronnie?
number 6 on my 790. It's on the first screen stitches.
I have the 590, so it's probably the same.
It must be the same. Where am I?
I'm sure it is.
All right. And this goes down, back, down, back, down, back, down, back.
Yeah, that's a good stitch. I've used it before too. Now you're using that for the flower stem?
I used it for the flower stem.
And
Now,
with regular or
this is Orifil size 50.
okay, 50. Okay.
But I used it on the sample that I made at the store. I used Orifil size 12, which is a thicker
Oh,
thread,
okay.
and I used a size 100 needle. I'm going to be
100
teaching this all over again, over and over. So
Yeah.
if you don't get it this time, you will get it next time. Do not worry.
Right. Okay.
A lot at one time, I know.
Mhm.
Okay? Everybody's okay?
Yep.
Okay, stick with
Yep.
it. You can
thank
do it.
you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank
Bye.
you so
Thank you,
much.
Ronnie.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Bye.